Massage guns are brilliant at reducing pain as well as muscle spasm, and may even help with recovery. However, they are not without risk, and there's been reports of serious injuries when people have used them wrongly. So in this video, we're going to look at what is the research showing, what can massage guns do, what they can't do, what serious injuries they can cause and how to avoid them. And then lastly, we'll look at what researchers have found, what settings works best, how long should you be using it for, how often can you be using it, all of those questions you may have. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Maryke. I'm one of the physiotherapists from sportsinjuryphysio.com, where you can get online physiotherapy assessment as well as treatment of your injuries. Have a look at the description of this video if you want a link to our website. People tend to claim that massage guns can do 4 things. They claim that it can reduce pain, improve flexibility, improve recovery after exercise, or even improve performance. But does the research support this? Well, the first thing to understand is that there is really not a lot of research out there yet, and the studies that are available are rather small. So whatever the research is showing today may actually change in the future once we get larger studies that's more reliable. But for the moment, what it's showing is that when it comes to decreasing pain, there is actually evidence that massage guns can decrease pain better than placebo, foam rolling, and sports massage. Then, if we think of flexibility, the research also suggests that it can help improve your flexibility. With regards to improving performance, so we're thinking strength or explosive strength while you exercise, currently the research is actually contradictory. Some of the studies show that, yep, it improved performance if used beforehand. Others showed that it really didn't do much. And then lastly, when it comes to recovery, the research is showing that perhaps it can help with short-term recovery. So for instance, if you have to exercise now, but then in a couple of hours time, you've got to do another session, it seems to improve that recovery rate. But if we look at longer term recovery, so we're thinking the next day or several days after, there's no evidence at the moment that it helps with that longer term recovery. Now, I love massage guns. I find it the most effective way to massage myself. So I was rather surprised when I saw what serious side effects they can cause. There are 4 types of injuries they can cause in the body if you use them excessively or over sensitive areas. So the first is they can damage your arteries or your veins, and that can lead to a blood clot. And there's been reports of people causing blood clots in the arteries close to the head and causing strokes and even death. They can also cause excessive muscle damage if you use them excessively over your muscles, and that can lead to a condition called rhabdomyolysis, which finally I managed to say, which in turn can lead to kidney failure. Now, rhabdomyolysis is usually a condition that you get through excessive exercise, but in this case, it's actually the percussion of the gun that can cause it. Also, there have been reports of massage guns causing eye damage if you use them on the face, close to the eyes, and loosening the retina, for instance. And lastly, there's also been reports of massage guns causing injuries to the pleura, which is the sac that covers your lungs and is meant to keep that negative pressure there. And that can cause bleeding on the lungs or air to fill into that areas and cause serious injuries there. The good news is that all of the negative effects can easily be avoided if you just follow some contraindications or avoid certain areas and use it in a specific way. So let's look at what those are. The first is, if you have a chronic condition that causes your cells to get damaged more easily. So what are these? Diabetes, kidney disease, iron deficiency, any type of chronic condition that can cause you to get damaged more easily, it is best to avoid massage guns because that vibration may cause trouble for you. Don't use it over open wounds or rashes or blisters. Also, avoid areas where there's acute inflammation. And then very important, if you have a recent muscle tear, tendon tear, or ligament tear, do not use a massage gun over that area. And this is a good example of just because it's painful and you want to decrease pain, doesn't mean that a massage gun is the correct tool for that. Because the problem here is that the muscle or the tendon or the ligament has to grow together and the percussions can interfere with that. Then also don't use it over a new scar. Now, any scar that's younger than 12 weeks is seen as a new scar. And that's because it takes at least 12 weeks for the scar tissue to mature and that scar to stabilize. And if you use vibrations before then, you can actually cause excessive scar tissue, or you can just damage the scar and you can struggle then with that area in the future. So make sure if you've had significant surgery, check with your surgeon if it's okay to use it. And if you're not sure, wait at least 12 weeks before you use a massage gun over that area. Also, if we think of fractures or bone density, it's best not to go over an area where you have a fracture in your bone or where you have quite low bone density, so osteoporosis. It may be okay if you've got quite a lot of muscle covering that area, like your bum for instance, but if at all unsure, rather avoid massage guns and rather go for massage from a therapist for that. Also, definitely avoid the face area and the head, and that's for 3 reasons. One, yes, the vibration can damage your eyes, like we've seen with some of the case reports, that it loosens the retina. It may also cause damage to the ears because of that vibration, but you also don't have a lot of padding there, and you've got lots of arteries and veins, so you could damage your arteries or veins even. And then definitely avoid the neck, because there have been several case reports of people causing themselves blood clots in the main arteries and veins going up and down from the brain, and that leading to serious injuries like stroke or even death in some cases. Also, this area of the neck, you've got large blood vessels that come right under your collarbones and comes out in this area, and there's been cases where people have given themselves blood clots using it over this area as well. With regards to the chest and the upper back, now this covers your lungs, and remember I said that it can cause damage to the sac that covers the lung? Now, it won't be for everybody. If you have a lot of muscle there, you may be absolutely fine. If you don't have a lot of muscle there, then, and you only have a thin layer and bone and skin there, then it may be best to actually avoid those areas. Definitely also if you have a chronic lung condition, so chronic asthma or emphysema or what's the other one, cystic fibrosis, anything affecting your lung health and causing the elasticity to go, then definitely avoid your chest and your upper back, because that may increase your risk of getting damage to that pleura. Now, for the rest of the body, we want to avoid areas where your large arteries, veins and nerves are exposed. So if we think of what they are, we've spoken about the neck in this area, also under the armpit, right here where your elbow bends, then also the back of the hands, the front of the hands, and your wrists. Okay. Same thing goes for in the lower body. You want to avoid your groin area, so the front of the groin, as well as behind your knees. And I wouldn't go around the ankle or down onto the foot, because again, there's just not much padding there. So it's much easier for the excessive vibrations to cause trouble there. Finally, if you know you don't have normal sensation in areas, sometimes people have had back injuries and it's caused numbness in their legs, or they've got a different type of injury that's causing them to not feel as much as they should. It's best not to use a massage gun in that area, because you simply can't tell if you're causing trouble or not. So that all sounds quite negative, but like I said, I really find massage guns useful for myself. So how can you use it in a safe way to get all the benefits but avoid the risks? Now, we're going to look at 4 things. We're going to look at where can you use it safely, then what settings works best, how hard you should be pushing, and then also how often you can do it. What areas can you use it over? Well, you can use it over any large muscle groups. So if we look at the legs, those are your calf muscles, your front of your shin, so over the tib ant, not on the bone bit, but in the muscly bit. Also front thigh muscles, quadriceps muscles, or your hamstring muscles, which are the muscles that run in the back of your thigh. Then definitely over the glutes, also the lower back, and then the biceps, the triceps in the back of the arm, as well as your forearm muscles on the front and the back. And like I said before, if you're somebody with a large chest muscles, then you may be able to use it safely on your chest, as well as large back muscles if you have large upper back muscles. But look at the contraindications and keep those in mind. Now, the settings you use will very much depend on what your goals are. What the research is showing is that for recovery, you want to use lower frequencies, so 2,400 percussions per minute or less for about 2 to 5 minutes per muscle group. For improving flexibility, we're looking for higher frequencies, so above 2,400 percussions, but only used for 2 minutes per muscle group then. So the higher the frequency, the less time you use it on the muscle for. And if we think of performance, the only thing we can say for sure at the moment is that it may not be a good idea to use it too soon before you have to perform, so before you exercise, because there's evidence that if you use it within 5 minutes of exercising, it actually decreases your ability to produce explosive movements and quite high forces. Now, please also use your common sense. If you're a large person or have large muscles, you may benefit from the higher range of what I've suggested here. But if you're a tiny person with small muscles, you likely need to go for less time first and then work it up from there. If you're not sure what massage guns to get, have a look at what frequencies it allows you, and I've put examples in the description of this video of massage guns that I found on Amazon that fits the description, that gives you the correct range of settings that you can benefit from. There's a tendency for people when they do self-massage, whether that's using a foam roller or any type, the harder they do it, the better. But you can actually cause yourself damage even with a foam roller if you go too hard. So with massage guns, it's best to go for comfortably uncomfortable pressure. What does this mean? So if we think of a pain scale, 10 is the most pain you can handle and 0 is no pain. It's best to aim for about a 4, but max 6 out of 10 discomfort when you get massage, or use a massage gun. If you're somebody who knows that you've got a really high pain tolerance and you don't really feel pain that very easily, go for the lower range, because then you know you're definitely not overdoing it. Finally, how often can you use a massage gun for? Well, your body needs time to recover from the treatment, like with any other types of treatment. So it's best to leave at least 48 hours between sessions. That way you know that you're definitely getting enough recovery time in between your sessions. Brilliant. Hope you found that useful. Now remember, if you need more help with an injury, you're welcome to consult one of the team via video call. Link to the website is in the description of this video. Take care.